episode 5 of the Bongshot podcast. We are obviously the best gaming podcast in the country by a mile. Joining us is joining us, like, even our own members are like, nah. Joining
We
us
don't
is
even have a designated logo yet.
yeah. We're just using my channel logo for
Right.
this right now. We have to sort that out within
Yeah.
the next 1 week-ish, I guess. Yeah. Joining us is Udit, as usual, game developer, Keanu Reeves impersonator, and yoga instructor. Apart from
Yoga.
that, isn't that what yoga instructors look like in like USA? And joining us as well is Operex Pratik Mody, who has a new YouTube channel and a face and webcam and everything today. Like,
Looking good,
so
Pratik.
awesome. Yeah.
Thanks.
What's up?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, this time we have
Finally, I have the
you.
camera.
Yeah, this time we have you like full face and not
Yeah.
just like a picture with like glowing orb. And I have like cyberpunk background. If you guys stick around, you can even see like special backgrounds in the back. I'm using this Nvidia broadcast. Yeah, I'll show all of
Donate
that.
$3 to Patreon to unlock better background skins for Aman.
So yeah, this is very nice. As you can see, I don't have to show my ugly wall and everything. And there's a lot of things in the Nvidia broadcast, which is amazing, but it only works with RTX GPUs, and I have an RTX GPU, so it's like great, right? Yeah. So let's start. This podcast is mostly going to be about Sony. I'll just discuss overall topics beforehand. Sony PS5, a lot of announcements there, $70 games and backwards compatibility for a lot of their games from PS4, plus the PS Plus subscription, giving like a lot of PS4 classics to PS5 free of charge if you have it. Michel Ancel, the main guy behind Beyond Good and Evil 2, leaving Beyond Good and Evil 2 to start a wildlife sanctuary. Cyberpunk 2077, which just happened yesterday. We are recording this on a Sunday, so it's still fresh on my mind. I'm very excited. 3000 series price hike and Nvidia broadcast, which is something I want to talk about. It's like it's a market thing rather than Nvidia doing something. Yeah. And what games are we playing at the end? So yeah, let's start. Udit and Operex, you guys are the PS4 and console experts. Please take it away. What happened?
Before anything, do you want to talk about how disastrous the launch was?
Yeah.
The
Oh,
pre-order?
PS4. Yeah.
So I want to tell you guys one thing about. So firstly, the press conference followed, and it was a big press conference, and Sony told very clearly that we're not going to announce pre-orders just one day before. It's not going to be like that. They told us very clearly. But something strange happened, right? Apparently, somebody at Walmart, I don't think this was in direct communication with Sony, but somebody at Walmart went ahead with the pre-order, and that got the site crashed. Everything, the pre-orders immediately sold out, and then what happened was every other retailer saw Walmart, and they were like, "Shit, we gotta get this out. We gotta get this out. We gotta get this out," and everybody put their pre-orders up, and this went without Sony's approval, and people at Sony were looking like, the fuck do we do? Right? We can't remove the pre-orders back because people are gonna be pissed, right? And in this current day and age, this is something you can't help. So they were like, just let it go. And so that, a pre-order following immediately with the press conference just amplified everything. So yeah, that was a disaster. I don't know who's to blame. Pratik, what
Yeah.
about that?
Well, the part of the problem is with Sony's PR. Like, I don't know what they're doing. They are very bad when it comes to communication.
In
I
India
don't know what.
especially.
In India, especially, they don't know how to communicate. To be honest, be it with review codes or be it with any kind of PR information, like beforehand that we are doing this, we'll be giving out this
A lot of that
soon,
is
this
in the
that.
presentation as well. The
Yeah,
communication.
no dates, no prizes, nothing. Like there was nothing. and they don't even communicate properly with anyone, when people ask for information.
Hmm.
Just yesterday only, they mailed everyone that those asking for pre-orders and prices and everything. Like there was nothing price related, but they did say that it's coming out on the 19th.
19th
And
of
we
November.
still, 19th of November, but we still, are very suspicious about it. I still
Because
think that there'll be like 2 weeks of delay after that.
I mean,
Like,
there will be definitely a bit of shortage.
yeah,
Because that's fine, but the main thing is that the retailers in India and others, they don't know actually when pre-orders are going
Nobody
on
knows.
here.
they
The
actually
only Sony
left her to
centers
dry.
know. The only
Yeah, yeah,
people who know are the Sony centers. Okay, no one else. They're like 19th ko aa raha hai. Don't worry,
yeah.
guys. That's what they said. They didn't say anything more than that.
No,
They're
see,
like,
they have
this is.
left out to dry, like Sony, they have just left them out, like
Mm,
no information, nothing. They're just sitting.
mm.
So, as somebody who speaks Sony's language, let me explain. There was a meme that happened on Facebook where I shared a Demon Souls trailer and told it was coming on PC. And you all were commenting on my post saying, "Is it coming to PC? Is it coming to PC?" I remember Mudra commented on it and I said yes. Then Aman commented and I said no. And that became scarily accurate to everything Sony did.
The thing is, I'm pretty sure Demon Souls is coming to PC. I mean, they
Everybody
probably,
knows.
yeah, they probably did not want to announce it then. They probably want to announce it maybe 6 months or a year
Yeah,
later
because
or
they wanted to
something.
be a
Yeah.
system seller first.
Yeah. They want a system sell. Obviously, you don't want to let one of your top games be said. Oh, it's coming to PC also. Everyone will. Oh, then I don't have to buy a PS5 immediately. That's
Yeah.
the first thing everyone's thinking, right? Because that's one of the games people are gonna buy PS5 for sure.
Right.
So yeah.
Especially now, it's the only next gen game that they have
Yeah.
from the exclusive.
Technically, Ratchet and Clank is a next
No,
gen
No,
game.
actually,
on launch.
DMC is there as well, dude.
On launch is what I'm saying.
DMC is there as well.
DMC
It's
is
only on
It's
PS5. Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
next gen. It's not
That's what.
next gen.
But it's
Come
there.
on,
Like it's not
man.
available anywhere else. You want to play as Virgil, you can only play on the
Hey,
PS5, dude.
Pratik. The thing is, like a game that was developed for next gen. We all thought Spider-Man Miles Morales was gonna be a proper next gen game. We all thought Horizon 2 was gonna be a proper next
I
gen.
was pretty sure like Spider-Man was not going to be an action game.
I mean, yeah,
I was
we
like
could.
90% sure that's not
I
going
think
to
that
happen.
It's
so.
an
I
enhancement
mean,
to the
if
current
crossplay was a little bit expected,
engine.
obviously it's gonna be well, like Witcher 3 exists on Switch, but
Yes.
that's not the
Yeah.
definite place. So you're obviously gonna see quite a bit of difference there.
Yeah.
But now that they've explained that it's coming on PS4, Demon Souls is pretty much the only.
Next
It's
gen.
not the only the 5 titles that are releasing, but Demon Souls is the quintessential next gen game that they can market, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
So-
saying they're touting Godfall as an action game. I was like,
Is anybody interested?
it's like what the hell? It's probably looking to be the next Destiny 2. Destiny,
Or
completely.
Warframe.
But let's get to the
The thing is, Warframe for whatever the grindy, and I make a lot of fun.
This will
of
be
Warframe.
grindy as well.
I make a lot of fun of Warframe, but Warframe is built like as a proper structure. It's like a behemoth of a game, right? There's a lot of things to do in there. Not just grind. I don't. Godfall seems and I don't trust 2K, to be very honest.
Everything about Godfall seems to be meh is the perfect reaction.
Yeah. It's like, okay, it doesn't even look very like it's like you have a sword and shit. Like it's like not even God of War level combat. It's like fine, okay, it's something I'll check out, but I'm not like, oh my god, Godfall is coming. I'm not like that at all.
And even they realize it's not because it barely got any screen time in Sony's presentation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's get to the presentation itself. And you know how Sony has developed their formula now. If you can break down into structures. So they release with some really unexpected big thing first. Like if you see 2015, it was Last Guardian. If in 2016 they started way with God of War, right? So something big was expected to open up, but what they opened up with kind of took me for a shock because I didn't expect that they were working simultaneously on. I mean, I knew Final Fantasy 16 was in the works. I didn't expect it to be so far into development the way they showed it. Then again, they have a history of showing that they're very far into development with Final Fantasy.
It's coming
and
on
not
PC at the same time, right? Though
obviously it's coming on
same.
PC.
Yeah, I mean at the same time, or is it like
That I'm
Final
not
Fantasy
sure about.
remake is where remake is still not announced for PC, is it?
It was supposed to
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not yet.
Yeah.
I
So,
think there might be a timed exclusive where it'll come a year
yeah.
later on.
Something
Same thing.
like that, I guess. Maybe.
But here's again, as a lot, before Aman is going to go on and be very apprehensive about this thing, I'm just going to say, like Bain says, this is not the time for fear, that comes later. Let's just be excited for now, right? The reason Final Fantasy 16 is very exciting is, first of all, the biggest issue so far from Final Fantasy games have been, and they've not been in terms of the heart that's in, because even in the faults that you find in Final Fantasy 15, there's a lot to like in that, right? There's a lot of heart into the characters and everything, right? And Final Fantasy 77 remake is oozing with personality. 14 was ground up remade, but all of them had something great in it. What they all lacked was a proper production plan, right? That was something Final Fantasy needed. Story is there, but the way it's scattered is absolute crap. The story is brilliant. The storytelling is crap.
I disagree. Final Fantasy 15 story. 15 is it? I keep confusing. Yeah. 15 is not the single player.
Yeah, 15 is the single player.
Yeah. 15 story. I looked everything up, right? I mean, it's the thing is the story got changed multiple times. I don't know how many of you know.
Exactly. So it's scattered, right? Yeah. It's very scattered.
But it got changed as well. Initially, Noctis was for those who played the game. Initially, Noctis was supposed to be kind of an anti-villain, where he goes and kills Luna.
Anti-villain is a hero, man.
I mean, yeah, in the game that you play, Luna gets killed by that hat guy, right? But in the story that was originally made, I don't even know their names. That's the thing. Yeah, Noctis kills Luna, and his dog is supposed to be a symbol of omen or something like that. It was a very different story to what became the final story. So yeah, I hope that's not happening. I hope there's not a lot of rechange in the story and those things happening.
This is where I'm gonna ease your fears on that, right? Yeah. So this is being produced by Yoshi P. Yoshida, if you for those who are not familiar, he is single-handedly responsible for the biggest comeback in gaming history with Final Fantasy 14. Right? There's a documentary of Final Fantasy, how disastrous that thing was. This guy brought it back on track and made it like one of the best MMORPGs currently working. Right? It's a beautiful documentary, and it tells how he changed the production pipeline completely. So this guy is a proper project manager. That is exactly what they know, right? And that's what they want. And he's also very forward-thinking in the documentary. When they see, they're like, there's a lot from Western RPGs that we are not taking that we should be taking lessons from. Because Square Enix had... there was a point where Square Enix basically got their head so far up their ass when it's basically suffering from success, right? Got pretty egoistic. They're like, we'll just keep doing random things, and basically it happens what happens to all those companies when that thing happens. So Yoshi was like, no, people outside are doing really good things. Let's learn from them, right? So when you see this trailer, immediately the dark tone is apparent. There's a boulder that crashes on a guy, and the guy's like basically paced, right? There's a beheading happening, and when you see that, you're like, somebody has been playing Witcher 3, somebody has been watching Game of Thrones. The dark tone is very apparent.
That's what I first said. Oh my god, Game of Thrones Final Fantasy.
Yes. The dark tone is very apparent. They're taking it back to the roots, the fantasy roots.
Yeah. It is a lot of like village medieval theme, which I wouldn't expect. Like, I don't remember the last time Final Fantasy went.
I think it was Final Fantasy 9. Which was the last proper only fantasy kind of thing. And even that had a little steampunk elements.
Yeah. Final Fantasy, as far as I remember, always had this, at least some guns, right?
Right.
Or like some mechanical thing going around, right? So, here it seems full medieval.
So this is why I thought it might be Ivalice. Evolus, if you don't know, Aman, and you're gonna love this. Evolus is a land. It got brought into in Final Fantasy Tactics, right? They created this medieval land, and the story of Final Fantasy Tactics was inspired by the same story that inspired Game of Thrones, right? So Evolus was very political driven, and that became the plot for Final Fantasy 12. Sorry, Final Fantasy 12 is the last fantasy kind of thing, right? So this, while people love Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 6 as better games, if you talk about world construction, Evolus is the best constructed world there. Very politically driven, very relevant. But the only thing was that Matsuno is not involved here. What is the next thing that we will notice is they were going towards a more active time combat, but this time they're completely done with the tactical part as well. This seems to be like DMC Monster Hunter style.
Yeah,
Play.
yeah. Combat
And
seems nice. That's for
yes,
sure.
and that will make extra sense when a year ago I shared this tweet. One of the game designers from Capcom moved to Square Enix, and that guy had been working on DMC and Monster Hunter, right? That is immediately apparent here. So there's a lot of inspired changes that are happening, and this is a completely different team from the past. This is a team that has proved itself successful in many small iterations with Square Enix, and so they have collectively gone and done. So you see a very cohesive vision of what it is. The game has been in development since 2016. They're going for a dark tone. They're trying to make a Naruto story. I don't care what you think. This is fucking Naruto. Because
I mean,
if you
okay. Can you tell me who are the main characters? Do you know anything about the main characters? What's the basic
I don't know
storyline?
about the name. I think forgot the name. What was the guy? But so it's the spiky boy band. Firstly, I want to know. The immediately raises my questions about the world. Right? How the hell do people gel their hairs so well in such a medieval toned?
Listen, what I'm trying to understand is that I saw 4 main characters. I saw that old, like, grown up kind of mid 30s guy with like a normal angry face in the mercenary group. I saw then this young guy with a sword who says, I am protecting you, whatever. And then there is one small boy and there's one small girl, right?
Right.
And in front of the small boy, that some character gets his head cut off and the blood gets spilled, and it's revealed that he has the icon of fire or something, which is somehow like impossible. Like how good is like, oh my god, it's like so that happens. So I'm very curious what the story is about that.
Actually, from the description, what I read after that was there are 2 main protagonists. Actually, the woman is the protagonist, like the June, whom they say. One of the protagonists is June, and she's accompanied by 4 people who she meets on her journey. That is Nex Waltus, who is the traveler from Nibelheim. Nibelheim. No, they always have names which recur through certain things. Nibelheim 15 as well. Mary, Dry, and Kazari, right? But
what I'm trying to understand is when we saw the gameplay, we clearly saw that young guy, right, with the sword and the spiky hair fighting.
I don't remember the name.
And he was alone. And he was alone. There were no companions, I should mention.
Yeah. I'm pulling this off the wiki. I don't exactly know the character's name. I've heard that the character can be customized.
I can play the gameplay on...
please do play. You see, one of the characters looks very similar to the character from Final Fantasy 14. They're pulling a lot of elements from Final Fantasy 14 as well. And you see somewhat of a Naruto Sasuke rivalry as well towards the end.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's some Jinchuriki shit going on. Because if you see it on the logos... Oh shit, I am pulling completely different fact wiki. I was wondering, what the fuck was I saying? This is not Final Fantasy 16. Sorry, ignore my ignorance. That was not the story.
Oh my god, the great Udit slipped up.
Right. Happens, dude. Final Fantasy is such a complicated thing.
Yeah.
So, if you look at the
OpenX is very silent throughout all of this. Are you not excited for Final Fantasy as much as us?
I don't know anything about Final Fantasy.
Wait, you have not played any Final Fantasy?
I have only played the remake, that's it.
Oh, Final Fantasy 7 remake. You have a PSP by any chance?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, do something.
Not now.
Not
Aman-
now. Obviously, we're doing the podcast, right? Obviously.
No. I mean, not now. Not now.
No. You have to. You download Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core on your PSP and play that full game.
Zach,
That's one
best
of
character.
that's one of the best games ever made. I'm not even kidding you.
Aman, like, I don't like protagonist kind of characters, but Zach is just such a great character.
Yeah. I'm just gonna
Right.
play the like Final Fantasy 16 trailer here.
I think the only character we got the name of is Joshua, and they turn into summons in this one, right?
Yeah. There's something like that. There's something like the entire Siri vibe from Witcher 3, where I guess these people are like living weapons of sort.
Jinchuriki.
Yeah. It's like the Naruto thing, like you said, like where they're trapped inside something like that.
Yeah.
Like I guess that's why you're saying Naruto vibes, right?
Yeah. Look at the stone, the way it just splatters this guy.
Yeah, it is very brutal. Oh my god! Like I haven't seen Final Fantasy in Final Fantasy VII remake. They make it all flowery. Even the brutal part,
Right.
they make it like very flowery. Here's pink blood and everything like that.
But in the original squares
yeah,
of
yeah.
look at that.
Hey. This is
Yeah,
way back in. This is what that guy said, right? Who is that reviewer? I keep forgetting that movie reviewer's name.
Who?
Who reviewed games as well recently.
Jeremy Jones.
Jeffrey Jones. He said, right? Square Soft was like hardcore, but Square Enix.
Yeah.
You have to think about the kids.
Think about the children. So they're like, yeah, these guys are going back to Quest of days.
See, this guy is definitely one of the protagonists.
Yes. Look at the combat.
Look at that combat.
Souls.
Yeah.
Souls light.
Looks very solid though.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I'll definitely play this.
Yeah. He looks
Yep.
solid, dude. Like,
Not just solid, looks very confident of this is what the game is going to be like.
yeah. It looks like it knows what it wants to do with its combat system. Yeah, I'm
The
very
trailer
excited.
does a good job that there's a political thing about kingdoms, and each kingdom has their own beast.
Yeah.
Right?
This is the
Yeah.
clear Dark Knight or Black Knight of the story, right? That one over OP
Yeah.
guy.
He'll probably
Bodyguard.
join you later on and sacrifices himself.
No,
in
no,
a-
I think he's clearly dead here.
Oh no, he's dead. Look at this combat, dude.
I love it. I love, and you see how they fall also, right? There's like
Yeah.
stagger and shit.
That guy's
Yeah.
traumatized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he's awakening his Jinchuriki.
Jinchuriki.
I am calling them Jinchuriki. I mean, they're summons, but this is straight up Naruto, okay? You're not convincing me otherwise.
There we go. This is what I meant. This is the Siri moment.
Yeah.
People who have played Witcher 3 knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, the icon of sin, I guess.
Look at that.
Icon of
Like,
fire.
they're going full.
Yeah.
They're like, if Naruto couldn't do Naruto well, we'll do it. Of course, there had to be crystals and everything.
Yeah, every Final Fantasy game, to be fair, has
Because,
crystals.
Aman, you have to notice because the logo, usually in every Final Fantasy logo, it's the main characters that are drawn artistically. For Final Fantasy 16, it's these beasts.
Please be nice. Please be nice. Final Fantasy 15 was so bad.
No, because it's a team that has proved itself, and everything in this screams confidence.
You know what would make this game for me?
What?
If you can have like in the Power Rangers, you have like mega creature fights, right?
Right.
In this game, imagine you become the icon of sin and you're fighting another like Godzilla type thing. Oh my
So
god!
these two are the same character apparently.
Really?
Yeah, apparently what they're saying is you can customize the main character, which is a new for Final Fantasy.
Okay.
We don't have confirmation for it, but apparently it can be customizable.
Okay. Interesting.
Which they've done. I mean, Final Fantasy through multiplayer, they've made the customizable thing, so it makes sense that they'll put that in the second as a main feature.
Yeah.
So again,
I'm excited.
I know there's a lot of reasons to be
Yeah.
apprehensive about
Yeah,
Final
I'm
Fantasy.
apprehensive as well. That's the thing.
Yes, it is cautiously optimistic, but I'm just saying, if there is one reason to trust in this team. Like, trust in this team. They have delivered in the past, and I am sure that they will pull this off. And I'm sure Square Enix has learned its lessons.
When is it scheduled to come exactly? 2021.
2030.
What?
Wait, it's a Final Fantasy game. It's not
Okay. Here's the thing. The trailer says PlayStation console exclusive, so I'm pretty sure it's coming to PC, like probably
is
around
coming
the
to
same time.
I mean,
I
Square
hope
Enix
so.
has been pushing
I
for.
hope Square Enix sees that there's enough money on PC as well. Like it's been recently reported that there's about 3 billion gamers in the world and half of them are on PC. I hope they see some,
Final
sense
Fantasy has sold a lot on PCs ever since they brought it.
Yeah, of course they will like PC gamers buy it. It's not, there was always this weird, I mean it's valid, but there was always this notion by publishers and big studios that PC gaming is, this was PC gaming is always full of pirates, and this was like a notion till about 2013-14. After that it slowly started to change, right? And we have seen that as soon as like these big companies now bring in the games into PC, and there's a good distribution system like Steam, which is giving you lots of tools around your game, not just not just the game. It's back in the day, piracy, I could still see the reasoning. If people remember games for Windows Pass, they know. Yeah, some games, okay, you can pirate, just do it. Like if that game has a games for Windows Pass, probably don't buy it pirated, because that's not gonna survive. Anyone who's played Age of Empires 3 knows what I'm talking about. You don't own, like if you originally bought Age of Empires 3, you cannot technically show that you ever owned the game on PC.
Right.
Because games for Windows Pass does not exist.
Right.
Right, so a lot of games like that disappeared over time on PC around till before I think 2012, 2011, because services kind of ended. But
Even
then,
GTA 4 was there, dude.
yeah. But over the last 9 years, I think that's changed drastically, and I think slowly publishers are coming to terms like, no, okay, PC users have money as well. I mean, of course, we built $2,000 PCs.
If you see Final Fantasy 15, the Windows edition is the best version of it, right?
Yeah.
Which means to show that they are pretty considering PC as a major thing.
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy 16 is going to come to PC. There's no doubt about it. Closing thoughts. So firstly, they're eyeing for a 2022 release date, which I don't believe.
2022 or 2021?
2022 is the release that they're eyeing for.
Okay.
Which I'm always saying, never believe Japanese developers when it comes to release dates. If it's 2022, it's probably coming in 2028. The thing is, there are 3 different teams working on 3 different projects. One is on Final Fantasy 14, one is on Final Fantasy 7 Remake 2, and one is this game.
Okay.
Interesting to see how this plays out. So that's the thing. So it's 3 different teams working on 3 different projects. So the way they're lined up, right? Final Fantasy 14 is obviously an MMORPG, and people are continuously going to be excited for Final Fantasy 7 while waiting for Final Fantasy 16. So
my ending thoughts is that I'm just excited to see blood and gore in like Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, just like they're going back to the people are like Final Fantasy is changing. Yes, people are like Final Fantasy is changing to modern. Like no, Final Fantasy is actually going back to
the roots. Yeah.
Yeah, they were always dark.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. It's I think 20 minutes just about Final Fantasy because we were very hyped. What other game got announced?
Announced, we got a gameplay of
Spider-Man.
Miles Morales.
Spider-Man's, yeah.
Yeah. OpperX is very excited. Go on, OpperX, fanboy like we did about Final Fantasy.
No, so the thing is that this is the first time we saw the game engine, like the game running on a next gen console. So yeah, we finally know how it will look, how the game will look. And I've seen a lot of new things. I've seen new lighting system. I've seen a new particle system as well in the game. If you have noticed all the colors and everything when he was jumping around and using all the abilities and stuff. And there were no frame drops. Like I would like to mention that because it'll run at 60 FPS, which is a very used thing, and there is an ultimate edition of the game as well, which has the remastered version of Spider-Man.
Right.
And
so that game will also run
upgradable, right? For people who own the PS4 version.
No,
No, they
That's
just
No, no,
announced
they
that.
announced it. They announced it. They
That's a
announced it.
fake account. That's a fake account. It's a
No,
parody
that was
account.
from Naughty Dog, I thought.
It's a parody account.
Huh?
Go check.
Let me
Okay.
just see.
Yeah, there's a guy who's making parody accounts of everyone.
Oh, my
See,
bad.
there's a clock sign instead of a tick mark. Just
Okay,
check.
okay,
Check that.
okay.
Even I thought, everyone got G-baited, so can't do anything about
Sad.
it. Yeah, so it's not happening. Maybe, this may force them to,
True.
yeah, because I want to play the base game again at 60
Right.
FPS. Even if I'm not buying miles, I want to play it. So let's hope they do that.
I've cleaned up Spider-Man. I'm gonna go do it again. But what I wanted to talk about was more than that. In the first game, they proved that they were capable of Spider-Man. This game, you see a more confident Insomniac,
Yep.
which I'm gonna tell you. Right. First of all, so the reason why Miles Morales became such a successful thing in the recent decade was unlike so having alternate monikers for your superhero is not uncommon. Batman has had Batman Beyond. Everybody has different things. Why Miles Morales stuck out more than anybody else was because his cultural background played a huge part in his story. Right? It was very relevant. So in a way, there was a period where Miles Morales people were like Miles Morales is the Spider-Man for next gen. Peter Parker is gone. Like people actually thought Miles Morales was more important than
Yeah.
Peter Parker, right? And the thing is, beyond everything, you see Insomniac get the tone so right with the character, right? You walk in, you see Harlem, right? You see everything feels like the place that you expect it to be. The moment the combat runs, right? Apart from him just being a little smaller and feeling a little lighter, that's something you expect most people to do. But the moment hip hop starts playing when he's fighting, right? There's a clear difference in personality that Insomniac always injects, and even the enemies are a lot more color coded, right?
Yeah.
There's a clear pink and red separation between
Feels
the
like
two
first
enemies.
light. Feels like
Yes,
first light.
right, exactly. They're drawing in things from that, and they have their own variations on characters. Tinkerer was there in Spider-Man: Homecoming, but he was a different. Here, he's a more he. Don't know if it's a he or she. It's a more androgynous take where
Yeah.
he's tinkering with his own tonality and his gender, right?
Hmm.
Uh, that's thing, and the thing is, everything happening on the bridge. Obviously, they have to destroy a bridge, right? So
Yeah.
much action going on that was not there in the previous game. That if you see, right, him holding the bridge together, which is like a staple Spider-Man thing now. After
Spider-Man thing. Yeah.
again, that is the main takeaway here. It's like that much combat happening with that much background destruction, right? A lot of people say Spider-Man is just a more
QTE or something like that.
outcome. Spider-Man and Batman are worlds apart in terms of gameplay. There is a lot of strategy that goes into Spider-Man gameplay. There's a lot of combos that you have to do. There's a lot of ways you have to think, and you can die very easily in these games, in Spider-Man games. You're not very careful, right?
Yeah.
Batman and wait, I lost track of that. Yeah, Spider-Man's gameplay is very tactical, and that happening with the world around being so destructible, right? Goes to show a proper next gen development, even though it is not technically next gen anymore.
It's not. Yeah.
Sorry, I fanboyed a lot.
I mean, we will see the same game on the PS4 as well, except the few particle effects and stuff like that.
Right.
But it'll mostly be same with a toned down, resolution up to like 1440p or something. But yeah.
But Insomniac, man, super excited for Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. That's it. You guys, I
The
thought
next
you
thing
guys
we
would
saw
fanboy a
Demon
bit
Souls.
more.
Yeah.
I
Let's
thought
talk
you
about
guys
Demon
would
Souls.
fanboy a little more about Spider-Man than Final Fantasy. I was like quiet. It's like, go ahead, child. You guys
I mean,
do your
Final
thing.
Fantasy 16 is like as great as Spider-Man is.
It's a
it
big
is-
thing, dude. Like Spider-Man is not as big as Final Fantasy or Game of Thrones or something like that.
No, you can't say that. Spider-Man is bigger than
We
Final
only have
Fantasy.
like
as a
one
franchise,
game, and now
Spider-Man is
second game
bigger
is
than
coming.
that, but
Yeah, we don't have content, Aman.
Yeah, true.
We need to have content to talk about it.
it's like Final Fantasy 16 came after like long time, right? And it's
Yeah.
completely different. Spider-Man is like, yep, Insomniac is doing the good job. They're continuing to do a great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
Yeah.
Does
We
anyone
should
want to
talk
talk
about Demon
about?
Souls. We should talk about Demon
No, no, we
Souls.
have
Okay,
to talk
fine.
about something Aman is super excited about for
Yeah.
some reason.
Yeah.
I want to talk
Which is,
about the $70 price tag, which is I want to just
Oh
rant. Can
yes.
someone
Yes.
rant?
I mean, it starts with Demon Souls only.
Yeah, it starts with Demon Souls only, so fine, we can start with Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Demon Souls is coming to PC.
true.
After a year, I guess.
After a year, it doesn't matter how long, but it's definitely coming to PC.
Yeah.
PlayStation kind of said that in the briefings, but then they were like, "Oh wait, no, this is human error. This is intern's fault. We did not mean to showcase this immediately."
You know, they didn't tell it in their presentation that Demon Souls was going to be a launch title. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
Sony, what are you thinking? Like, what would get people to buy this console? Telling people it was a launch title. What would not get people to buy this console?
Telling
Would be
people it's coming on
telling
PC.
We also saw
Yeah.
in the gameplay the first thing about the SSD. If you guys noticed, when he used the bonfire, there was no breaks. Like he just instantly he
I saw,
teleported
right? I
inside.
saw there was like particle effects and just teleportation.
Exactly. There
And
was
it's
like
so
not even like 1
cool.
second.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't wait because yeah, we will go back to the Cyberpunk thing, but even Cyberpunk, even with the low requirements, they said SSD recommended.
SSD recommended. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited to see what the game
No, I mean, and
developers do.
especially Pratik, when you remember, loading times for Bloodborne were horrendous,
Oh God.
right?
Yeah.
When it launched, there were 40-second loading times.
40 seconds? You guys don't know
It was
anything.
40 seconds. It
Play
was
Fallout
kind
4.
of nice 'cause when you died, you needed a breather, but they reduced it eventually. But it was still
Play
pretty long.
Fallout 4. Okay, you enter every door, you have to wait like 3 minutes. You go do your Maggie cooking and come back by
Wow.
that time. So
This
yeah.
kind of thing is brilliant.
Yeah.
People are saying that I don't know why there's a negative reaction that it's just a remake. It's a remake of an old game. Now this is a brand new game and it's developed for on a brand new engine. It's developed for the next gen. It looks like a proper next gen game.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful. Blue Point Games has been constantly impressing. And again, Aman, this was what we expected when Sony said that you will see more games coming to PC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the kind of titles we expected to come, right? Demon Souls makes
My
perfect
bad.
sense to
Yeah.
come to PC.
Initially, when they said they were going to get more titles to PCs, I think we discussed that it would be last generation titles plus, something like remakes. I mean, so it
Right.
makes complete sense for Demon Souls to come eventually to PC because it's already like it's a title that people are already on PC are playing through
Right.
emulators and stuff. So there is a large fan base on PC for Dark Souls and Demon Souls and every
Yeah. Definitely.
yeah.
Sony's like, let's just make money off that. Those
Yeah,
people
yeah,
are
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
in an interview with Jim Ryan, he said that 99% of the PS4 games will work with the PS5 from day zero without needing any patch. So
That's
at the same time, yeah, without needing any patch, 99% of the games will run on the PS5.
I mean, that makes sense because these are x64 architect,
Yeah,
technically x84 architect or 64.
x84. Yeah,
84, right? The
yeah,
x84 architect
86,
piece.
right?
Basically PCs these days, right? These days
yes,
in consoles you can change settings, whether you want more frame rates, whether you want more graphics, what resolution you want to play on, whether you want better shadows, lighter shadows, stuff like that. So it's come to the point where even consoles are dipping into the PC aspect of menus and stuff a little bit. But yeah, it's understandable why PS4 games can be easily transferable to PS5 because it's of the same architecture, and why PS3 and PS2 games are not
right.
coming.
coming to PS5
was
because
weird.
PS3 was for those of you who don't know had a
Sir.
completely different CPU that
Right.
and they did completely rendering
No,
and
it has a
everything.
completely different OS. They have the Orbit OS, which is like
Not just
completely
OS,
different.
also the CPU, as
CPU
far
as
as I
well.
remember. And it was because
Architecture
of
was
that.
completely different.
Yeah,
It was a
architecture was
sh- yeah, cell shaded thing,
Yes,
completely different.
There was a lot of different things about how PS3 rendered games and code, like how
And it
games
was
are
like very
coded.
hard for the developers to make games on it as
Yeah,
well.
So I think the Cherno is a brilliant website, brilliant channel who covers game engines. He talks about it. Like it was very hard for the programmers to,
Yeah.
leverage the game, but when they leveraged it, that system delivered. But it took a lot from the developers. So PS suffered from that.
Right.
What I'm interested is again coming back to the Demon's Souls topic, right?
Yeah.
Last gen, which means few years down the line, you're gonna get a Bloodborne remake, and it's gonna come to PC.
Yeah.
Bloodborne remake. Nah.
Bloodborne
It's fine.
remastered. I don't think
It
there'll be a
looks
remake of
nice
Bloodborne.
only. It looks nice.
We might
only.
get a sequel.
Just
Hey,
need higher
so
textures.
is the upgraded version on PS5 gonna be the Bloodborne 60 FPS?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
frame rate sometimes would go horrendous in Bloodborne. So
I
this
think
is
they'll patch it.
this is gonna be like
Yeah,
perfect.
of course they will have 60 FPS. You have an SSD now, and plus you have better graphical
So
computing.
most of the things that held the game back were these performance issues.
Right.
So,
Can't wait for Bloodstaff Beast to kill me like in
In
a
60
fast way
FPS. Yeah.
at 60 FPS.
Yeah,
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah.
let's go
More
on the
frame rates.
99 games that are available on PS5. That is
Yeah.
a part of the PlayStation Plus subscription, right?
No. This is for everyone.
Okay.
Who, like if you have a PS4 disc right now, you can play it on the PS5. No
Yeah.
problem.
It's backwards compatibility. That's what
It's backwards, yeah, without a patch. The
Yeah,
patch will
right.
only enable 60 FPS from what I can say.
No. What I wanted to say was going to 99% things. Not
Yeah.
only is the upgradable, but these games, if you purchase a PS5 and you get a PS Plus subscription,
Mm.
and you don't have those games before, but if you get a PS Plus subscription, these games will be available to you.
Yeah, there are like handful of games, right? Like 12 to 13 games that are available for PS Plus members. There's
Right.
a very small list, yeah.
Which
But
will
it has Bloodborne and Uncharted 4 and Ratchet and Clank, the old one, and all those games in it.
basically all the top games of
Yeah.
Sony's catalog.
God of War is there as well, yeah.
And that's free for people who get the. I mean, it's not free, but if you get the
PS
subscription, you
Plus,
get it.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
have
yeah.
the subscription, you can play those games basically free of charge. It's something like Xbox Pass.
It's like Game Pass only, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. Whereas Xbox Pass gives you but 200 games but no free games per month. PS Plus
Yes.
gives you fewer games but free games per month,
Yes.
right? So if you have PS Plus subscription over time, you can accumulate quite a library, I guess.
That is again. So going back, I was saying, PlayStation has suffered with having weak launch titles. Combining Demon's Souls with the fact that all the classics from PlayStation 4 are available now in their upgraded versions if you get the subscription. That is insane value for your money.
Yeah,
Huh?
that's great. That's great.
Even at launch,
Yeah.
like this is the best launch Sony can have.
This
If you
is the
compare it with others,
I mean, the best launch would be a game that's completely new or like a sequel of an amazing IP at launch. We haven't seen.
But it takes time, Aman. It's not
I
that easy.
understand it takes time, but we haven't seen even last
We have
generation.
God of War
See,
coming
here's
next
the thing.
year.
Here's the thing. Even when PS4 and Xbox One released, we didn't have that, right?
Yeah.
The last time we had something like that, which is when a console came out with big titles on launch day, was Xbox 360. For those of you who remember, right?
Yeah.
Even PS3 did not have that. PS3 actually. Xbox 360 and PS3. Xbox 360
had a
won
lot of games
quite a
that came
bit,
with sequels.
but PS3 had won towards the end, right? Xbox 360 was winning in the early version of the generation, whereas
Hang on. Be on my door. I'll just be back.
I think that's my door. Is it? Give
I
me a
must
second. Yeah, it's my door. Give me a second.
The hell? Look at that. What I'm saying is whatever Aman says, I do agree, but because PlayStation has always been that kind of a console which has grown legs, right? They've always started weak, but because their development cycles were so long, right? Towards the end, they would hit hard, right? Like Last of Us was what got PS3 over. But this time they're starting with a strong foot first, right? Not only are they starting with Demon's Souls, but they're also giving you everything that PS4 was popular for.
Yeah, they're
You're
giving
getting it now, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a huge incentive for people who slept on the last console, right?
Yeah.
They were like, we're not going to get a PS4, but shit, this is available for me on launch. I'm going to get this. And
One
not
more
only
point.
that,
Yeah. Continue.
let us talk about they released the pricing as well, which they matched they matched Xbox's pricing, which I told you, Aman, that they would do.
Mhm.
Uh,
I thought they
but
would go a bit more expensive
yeah,
because they're gonna.
I was like, they'll probably match it, or
Yeah.
I was like, they would want to go under it or match it. But what is more interesting is the digital version,
Yeah.
right? Which is $100 cheaper, right? So I'm assuming in India it might be 40,000 ish,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Which kind of puts Xbox Series S into jeopardy, because unlike Xbox Series S, this is not a downgraded version.
Yeah.
The digital is not a downgraded version. It is the same console, but it's completely digital.
For like 5,000 rupees more, you're getting 2.2 times better CPU, 2.2 times better GPU performance, everything. It's
Right.
like twice the power for 5,000 rupees extra you're
Right.
getting.
So
Plus double SSD, if I add.
So exactly. So
Yeah.
that is an interesting thing. So that is where I think PlayStation might edge out because of the digital version.
See,
Right?
here's the thing. I actually think PS5 digital is great because something that they kind of showcased is no, you can build like a next gen PC for just $100 more, which is like, I guess in India it will be 5,000 rupees more, right? Because Xbox Series X is like 35K, which is very weird and sad. But yeah, if PS5 digital is 40K, it's easily the better value over a long period of time in terms of what hardware you own. But one thing I want to mention is how if you buy the digital console, you cannot buy used games. One, which means you have to buy games at full price. You cannot buy used games, used discs and stuff.
Agreed.
So you have to buy games at full price. And that means Sony deciding those prices, which is $70 these days, which is first party, right?
True.
Off of the digital store, that's pretty expensive. On retail, you still get it on discount sometimes and stuff, right? So,
But there are digital sales as well, Aman.
digital say,
Double discounts and everything.
I agree, but if you want to play the best game, like the exclusive in the first, what I have seen for PS5 owners, particularly a lot of my friends like Mudra and all have PS4s, right? They tend to buy PS4, and when say something like God of War comes out, one of them will play it and they'll pass it on to the other, then they'll pass it on to
you
the
can't
other, and
do that
so
in this. Yeah, true.
and then the second person buys the next exclusive and he passes on to you. So in that way you save a lot of money that way. You can't do that in digital, PS5 digital. So the overhead cost, like over time, is much more for digital.
The digital
But I
one.
guess that's the same kind of rule for Xbox Series S as well, because even that is digital. But the only thing that I guess Xbox Series S can say is that no, our games are not $70. But even then, like third
I think that's
party.
a market-driven change. That's
I think even third-party developers might inch towards, because we saw Ubisoft say this.
Ubisoft said
$70
this,
game.
because for most people who
PS said this, and the thing is, we don't know what it means for Indians, right? Games are already very expensive here. For those of you, like, I guess anyone who watches this is probably Indian to begin with, right? So games, I think PS4 games sometimes go, like, if you have to buy a game day one, it's already 4K. Right? That's huge. Like in PC, there's nowhere near that amount, right? We get games. I mean, we get games
max 3,000.
Yeah, max 3,000. Cyberpunk is 3K, right? To one of the biggest games this generation, easily, right? 3K. I think in Games the Shop it's 2.5K, if I'm correct.
Yeah, the physical 2,600 something, along with the T-shirt you're getting.
Yeah, so I'm just curious about how expensive next gen is going to be, and
it will be around 4,500, I think.
And let me remind you, while Sony will have $70 titles, most of the titles are still single player. Third party titles, not so much. They will put $74 title and they'll also put microtransactions inside it, like Avengers, right?
Yeah.
So I am kind of scared
Here's where
about
I
that.
disagree with you, Aman, that most of the titles are single players, because even games like Naughty Dog and Last of Us, Naughty Dog, they do come with a multiplayer, and those multiplayers do have microtransactions. So
I mean, I
that is
understand. I mean, what I'm trying to say is there is a solid single player experience when you buy a PS5 game,
true.
right? Third party games, you never know. Specifically, like if we take the recent most example of Avengers, right? Everyone's seeing what's happening over there, which is like it's a $60 title with like a $50
This is the comparison I wanted
Game
to make.
Pass.
Like Miles Morales trailer made me show how mediocre Avengers really looks.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm just very curious and trying to understand where the economics of this will go. Like, um, the game developers will not game developers, gaming executors very specifically will always tell you games are getting more expensive, right? But when you see some of these game executives and game publishers, the developers aren't the ones who are getting paid more. Or
No.
yeah, these are sometimes you have like $150 titles, $150 million titles coming out, right?
Right.
Something like Call of Duty or stuff. But then you have see the EA vice president getting millions of dollars in bonuses, or Activision president getting millions of dollars in it's not like I don't buy it, right? I don't buy it when people say games are getting more expensive, so we have to increase prices, because my only counterpoint is more people are also buying games. It's repeatedly we are seeing that there's an upward curve in the industry, and more, and because of the pandemic, even more people are buying games these days, right? And there's a complete upsurge of growth in the gaming industry overall. So I am one of those people who do not think games have to be more expensive, because games already have this model of trying to take out more money from you after you make the initial payment. So I don't know why they have to increase the initial payment as well, right? I don't see the point. Yeah, that's my concern, I guess, this next gen. I mean, and new gen and new problems, like we always had. Like last gen, the problem was always online. This time is $70 game.
When was the last time we had a price hike in games?
No, not long time.
It's
was a
been
long
years.
time.
20 years or so. 20 years
Not
or so.
20 years, I think 15. I think with the PS3 and Xbox 360 gen probably.
Yeah, it's
The
probably.
PS3 games on launch were around 2,500 rupees because I used to buy at
Yeah,
that
it
time.
was cheaper in India, but it was still $60, correct?
No,
Yeah,
50.
true.
I think $50 was it what it was.
It was
Yeah,
50, yes. It was
regional
50.
pricing
and
was still like unreasonable in
Right.
India,
So it was
especially
$50
for
and it got a $60 hike.
But the conversion was less as well, right? At that
yeah.
time.
I
So,
don't think it's just about conversion. At this point, it's also about yeah, it's probably not all about conversion anymore.
Here's I'm not defending or anything. There's no my opinions on this are not. I would definitely like cheaper games.
Yeah.
I think at every point there's a price jump that happens, and I think the market thought that the next gen would be probably the
Best
best
time, yeah.
time to put a price hike, and that's the reasoning. Not that
Yeah.
it is justified.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand, right? When you say this, I can understand why the executives are thinking that, this is a good
Yeah.
time to put a price hike and everything.
I
And
just-
yeah, but there's so many things going on. First of all, the entire world is in recession.
Yeah.
Right? You have to understand basic thing. Gaming is one of the few places that's booming. And my biggest problem is not even this. My biggest problem is the price hike benefiting developers? I don't see it.
Agreed.
I don't think it
I
is.
don't see it, right?
Yeah, for case by case basis, and it leans more towards it not benefiting.
Yeah, it feels like something that is meant for the corporations more than the people who are actually developing the games, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a necessity where people are saying, listen, it's because I don't see developers coming up and saying, no, we need $70 games or we are not going to get paid.
Yeah.
Right?
You know how you
It's
can get
executives.
developers. You know how you can get developers to pay more, to earn more. Make your game shorter, have less fluff in it, have a better production pipeline.
See, these
Yeah.
are not on developers anymore, right?
I
These are-
understand. No, that's what I'm saying. It's on the project managers, right?
Yeah.
How you can make sure that the developers earn more and have a better life is just plan your projects better. Don't make them ridiculously large, right? Don't force your games to have optional lot of stuff which most of the players don't really actually even care to finish.
Yeah.
It's just something you can sell. Understand your product and give a proper planned product within a reasonable time frame, and the developers automatically will be earning and leading better lives.
I mean,
right?
see, here's the thing. If your executives are earning millions of dollars in bonuses, you can already pay your developers, right?
Definitely.
Just
You can,
like
yeah, you
this.
can just raise.
I think we are going to come across the game Cyberpunk in a few days, and I think it's going to be very interesting, the entire narrative that goes in there, how corporations are getting in while there's also people who are starving underneath their building. I think that's kind of the similar things that's happening, we are seeing in this industry. I mean, there's things being fixed. We are seeing people fixing crunch time. We see positive people coming out to change certain things in the industry, but we also see people like Activision CEO saying that no, we can't, like, we need more money for, like, ourselves, not we as an Activision, me. I need more money. And
Actually, Peter looks like a guy who has had so much money in his life, right? Like it's just transformed him into
yeah, he looks like a
into a
gremlin.
into a World of Warcraft
I'll
character.
put a picture somewhere here after the podcast in the editing, but he looks like a gremlin.
He looks like a World of Warcraft character, dude.
Yeah, he looks like the goblin from Harry Potter. So yeah, that. So I'm kind of cautious about the entire price hikes thing that's happening. But apart from that, yeah, I'm very excited about next gen. Backwards compatibility, very nice, all that. Yeah, I think we can move on to the next topic then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michel, and I keep forgetting like his pronunciation of his name. Michel Ancel has left BGE2 to open a wildlife sanctuary. Weird. Nice. Mad respect for the guy, but weird. Like...
Remember last podcast I was talking about how BGE2 he was so impressed with BG2 that it has mocked with reality, and he's like, I don't like it has gone.
You jinxed it. You jinxed it.
I didn't see
Your
this
fault, Udit, your
happening.
fault.
Yeah.
I don't see. So a lot of people have been going for taking this in a negative light, saying Ubisoft probably fucked things up again and stuff. This is one of the cases where I don't want to be that person, because nothing from the statement release kind of indicates this to be a negative
Fuck up. Yeah.
or a immediate
thing, yeah.
action. This seems like something he has always wanted to do. And if you see the way he designs his games, right? They've always been about these colorful worlds, filled with flora. He made a game called Wild. He was working on a game called Wild, which was about having this ambitious open world filled with wildlife. So this was something that was always in his mind, even beyond Good and Evil, man. That the
There's
characters.
a lot of animal storyline around it. There's a lot of things around animals in that story, which is
So this is something that feels like such a close thing to his art. What I think is like Beyond Good and Evil 2 was his passion project, right? And I think it was far enough into development where we have seen, like, a lot of people might think that there has not been enough news, but they have been releasing a lot of tidbits, right? Where Michel Ancel was talking about how the game world is going to be. And he says that this has progressed in such an autonomous manner where where the game was being developed, the production is fine, they know which direction to follow, and he felt comfortable to leave and pursue. I think 2020 has just been such a weird year where everybody was like figuring out again where their
what is the meaning of life.
He just realized.
I have had over the last 6 months the number of people have talked about, what am I doing with my life, this question. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone's thinking it. Like, it's like, yeah.
Michel Ancel, I'll give a proper disclaimer that this guy is my favorite game designer.
Proper description?
Pooper. It's Pooper now. This guy is my favorite game designer because even within games, there were certain moments where he would breathe so much life into certain things. Like a challenge would not be a challenge; it would be a narrative story. Like this is a sort of an ode to this segment is a sort of not only talking about his actions but also an ode to him, because when I played Beyond Good and Evil, right? Before you'd have certain segments, right? You'd have racing segments in your open world games. you'd have certain photographic segments, but all of them had certain bit of life. Like you'd have a racing segment, but that would slowly be a part of the story where, while you would race, you would have to find a small hole where you're infiltrating a base, right? So you'd go race around searching for that small hole and eventually jump in that, and that becomes the next mission segment. The puzzles are so well coordinated with the narratives, right? They still hold up to this day.
Well,
I
Nier
still
Automata
remember
had
the
that as
final
well, right?
boss battle. I still remember the final boss battle, which is where the enemy is fucking with Jade's character, and it's like you feel it because the enemy has fucked with the head so much, all the controls are reverted, right? So you're just like figuring things around in the way. So again, he is one of the greatest game designers we've had. He's been influential for 30 years. My takeaway is that he's so proud of Beyond Good and Evil 2. He has realized that I have done everything I want to do.
That's Udit basically crossing his fingers and hoping that
I
BGE2
have done
is
everything. I can't do anything more. This game is perfect. I must go to the wild. The wild is calling out to me.
Calling me.
See,
Yes.
here's the thing. I am kind of 50-50 on this. For anyone who has followed me and Udit over the years, they know we've been hyping up BGE2 ever since it got announced, right? And we've been saying from a long time, BGE2 is probably better than Cyberpunk 2077. Probably still is. Okay. But the thing is, here's the interesting part. I don't know about game production. We'll actually have a guest in the near future who will tell us more about game production pipelines and stuff like that. But yeah, what like Udit said, whatever was around this thing, it was not like someone got fired. In Ubisoft recently, it was about someone got fired or sexually misconduct, like as sexual misconduct.
How will Michel Ancel stand your ground? Right?
No, I'm saying this is not Michel Ancel doing his. This is not how Michel Ancel is went away. It's not because of
I know.
even from the last 15 years. Every time I remember someone leaving Ubisoft, I remember them not leaving Ubisoft in a nice way.
Right.
From the Assassin's Creed initial director to Jade Raymond, who did some amazing stuff in Assassin's Creed, to the recent sexual misconduct allegations and whatever happened with Ashraf Ismail and him cheating on his wife with like other Twitch streamers and stuff like that. So all of that, this does not seem like that. This seems like this guy is probably either tired of Ubisoft or wanted to pursue his passion, or both, right? But it feels like he has done what he wanted to do in his job of BGE2, and that leads me to believe if he did actually complete his part of the work, right? If your BGE2 is autonomous as he says it is, this game is probably coming by next year end.
By next year, or at least 2022.
I think this is gonna be the holiday release for Ubisoft. Ubisoft has a big holiday title every year for Christmas, around Christmas times, right? Around that time where during Black Friday and Christmas and Thanksgiving, all of that. For this year, it's Assassin's Creed Valhalla, right? And before, whoever followed this, it was always Assassin's Creed, right? Previously. I think this is going to be their title next year. Because if it's delayed more than that, I don't know what's going on with the game. The only place where I can see where Michel Ancel might not require any oversight from Michel Ancel is where there would be bugs or gameplay glitches, the polishing part, right? Which is fine, anyone can do it, right? It's just about making sure things aren't going bad in the code and stuff. But if it comes to the storyline and stuff like that and rewriting, I will have my fears come true.
Right,
I don't want to hear a story about this story. We still know so little about what Beyond Good and Evil story. We know the synopsis, but we don't know how it will play out. We don't know if there's multiple endings. We don't know what's going on with the entire storyline. We know we are a pirate and it's a past prequel, but yeah, it's just this game reminds me I will play some sad violin music and like while I'm like putting this out, but this game reminds me of this movie called Treasure Planet from Disney,
Right. Hmm.
right? And Treasure Planet was my by far one of my best movies, Disney movies I've ever seen. Like as a child, it lit up my eyes thinking
Hmm.
of um, ships sailing in space, right? The idea of going after a lost treasure in space.
Right.
All of this seems like a child's dream. Like, I really don't want this story. I don't want this game to fall flat. Please, Ubisoft, don't ruin it.
And-
If Michel Ancel, basically, last my end thoughts. If Michel Ancel is leaving this at a state where it's the major parts are complete, probably expected by end of next year. I think they're gonna release it during the holiday time.
Now let's focus on something very interesting. So even in terms of post-retirement career options, this dude is a pioneer. I think I think game designers will make really good wildlife sanctuary directors, right? You have to create an entire world. Basically, you have to create an entire world with animals and flora and fauna in it. You have to manage the economy. I'm sure this guy's working on balancing. I'll keep these animals here. I'll keep the carnivores here to make sure that
I mean, he has enough money as well at this point. If you're
Right.
working as someone like Michel Ancel over Ubisoft over so long period, where you've literally created their mascot previously, so I'm really sure he earned much.
Another very
as well.
animal and environment cartoonish what are the saying? Yeah, animal themed thing.
So yeah, I'm happy for Michel Ancel. I just hope the game comes out well because I'll be
I'm
very
more
upset
impressed.
otherwise.
I want to know more about a wildlife sanctuary. I want to see a game designer take on a real mini open world.
Yeah. Anyway, should we talk about next about Cyberpunk or should we talk about 3000 series? Which?
Either way works.
Brex, choose.
Yeah, let's talk about the GPU now, I guess.
Okay, 3000 series. I guess we
Yeah,
talked about quite a bit about it
yeah.
last week. No, not last week.
Last to last week.
week. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we are seeing the initial samples come out performance. It's not 2x, it's more like 60-70%.
See, the thing is, people thought that 2 times performance is like the raw performance of the GPU,
It's RTX
but
performance.
Nvidia specifically mentioned it's with RT,
Yeah,
and people haven't noticed that. Like
yeah,
raw performance is somewhere around 1.7x,
yeah.
1.8x max. But I think it's still fine. It will reach 2x by the time driver
Updates
optimization
and
and all
everything.
they
It's a
come.
nice card. It's a nice card. But what I want to
Yep.
talk about is, so for a lot of people who don't know, here's something a friend of mine told me. He again, like Aditya told me from X-Ray, right? Nvidia fucked up a little bit over Thin 3000 series. How did they fuck up? Apparently, Nvidia used to make their chips from TSMC, right? And TSMC has been gaining amazing clients really lately, including AMD and a few
Yeah.
others. And because of that, their bills also increased. Now, Nvidia was a bit angry, or rather, Jensen was a bit angry with the bill increase and stuff. They're making still the Quadros chips from TSMC, but their 3000 consumer chips are being made by Samsung. And what happened is the yield rate was low. To give you an understanding of whoever is watching, a chip is made in a silicon tray of sorts, like,
Tray.
and the tray is cut, and out of that cut pieces, like 80% is good, 20% is bad, stuff like that, right? So generally in TMC it's 80% good because they've been doing it for a long time and they've also perfected their art. In Samsung's case, the yield was much lower. So basically, long story short, expect a shortage around the world for 3000 series cards, at least for the first 3 to 6 months. Yeah, that's going to happen, and that's going to artificially give a price hike to the cards, which I think some people are already seeing in places like US and Europe, where cards are being sold for a $700 card is being sold for $2,000 on US eBay because they just were buying it through bots and shit. So yeah, stuff like that might happen in India as well when we come out, because I know for a fact that the initial cards will be only in double digit stocks, so they're not getting a lot of a lot of stocks initially. Again, like I said, this is a worldwide shortage problem. This is not like an India thing. But because it's a worldwide shortage problem, India is also getting less stuff. And because of that, India will obviously also have less people who can buy these things.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's happening. Anything
Yep.
on this, Pratik? And also I should mention, like Pratik mentioned back to me, I think last week or so, that cryptocurrency thing, crypto mining might make a comeback on these cards as well. So yeah,
Because the performance is like really, really good for
yeah,
the price that you're paying.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
definitely a
Price
very
to
good
price
card.
to performance ratio is much better than the previous cards, even if you take into the
Account the price
account
hike.
price high. No, not price hike. Even if you take into account the fact that it's not exactly 2x performance, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the fact that it's so cheap makes it up for that. That
Yep.
not being exactly 2x, but having 60-70% more powerful. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think crypto mining will make a comeback? What do you see
Mm, Yep, it will. I think so.
during
Because
these times, though? During times of recession and stuff.
yeah, why not? Like people are at home, they can like, buy one of these GPUs and they can build a PC just for crypto and they can just keep it somewhere while they're
Hmm.
working on their main PC. I see
Hmm.
it happening definitely.
Hmm.
But it depends on a lot of other factors like how the market is running around Bitcoin.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, is Bitcoin something that people are using right now? It depends on a lot of things. It depends on a lot of other products as well, you know.
Right.
So we have to see that like in a month or two we'll see it for sure.
Right. Yeah. So that's interesting. I keep forgetting one more thing. Oh yeah, Nvidia broadcast for those who, oh my god, this is my time. Magic show. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, I'm using Nvidia broadcast. That's where you can see my cyberpunk background. This is auto frame. This Nvidia broadcast is a software available on RTX GPUs, so RTX 2000 series and above, 3000 series. So Udit, you can see I have a mini cameraman in my webcam now
Right.
who follows me. So I can do this trick now where meet my water bottle.
Damn. Oh, that is really cool.
Look at my water bottle.
This will be really fun for streamers.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I love the software. The thing is, it does take a. There is a small CPU hit along with the GPU hit, but I love this software. It's like great.
It takes a CPU hit and yours took a CPU hit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it
it's
did.
not a CPU hit, but yeah. Wait. I'll redo this. Yeah. So Nvidia broadcast has a small CPU hit. Have I recorded? Yeah. Nvidia broadcast has a small CPU hit apart from like a GPU hit. But it's RTX cards only because it uses the tensor cores to do the AI stuff, magic AI
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, it's great. There's like a background replacement which you saw me with the cyberpunk thing, and this is background removal for, so if you're playing something like Ghost of Tsushima or anything, right, any game, and you want to just disappear what is behind you. Isn't this great? Like, oh my
Great.
god, there's no green screen behind me, anything. And the best part is this is AI, so it will keep improving over time. That's just also great. And then there is background blur. So if you have like a nice room, you can like, unfortunately I have like plasters and everything in my room, so yeah, but it does a nice job. It blurs everything out in the background. Looks very cool, very pro.
That's like proper DSLR style.
Yeah, this is DSLR effect. There's like, I can increase the blur amount and stuff as well. So, and the last thing is what I want to show is background replacement, which is what I was using for the cyberpunk background, but you can do so many cool things with it. For example, where did it go? Where did it go? Oh my god, I can't find it. Yeah, this.
Of course, that is a glorious. That is art. That is art.
Wow.
Every single time, Aman. Fucking hell, can't help you. Can you stop doing that for once?
But this is so good. I'll do it next. Okay, next podcast. You are definitely in my background, and I'm definitely
No.
doing something weird to you.
No.
Yeah, it's sorted. Yeah, you're
Aman
definitely.
will do your breathtaking.
Yeah. Something. So if you, so this is for anyone who is commenting or like watching this podcast, if you guys can make me a nice Udit's meme, might be in the background. Yay! So that's going on.
State of exploitation.
This is audience engagement. What the hell? This is actual audience. This is fun audience engagement.
I am just an object I'm your enabler for views. I feel you.
See, I made.
That is
see,
sad.
It's about creative input as well. The thumbnails I made, okay. The nice thumbnail ideas are all mine. So yeah, this will probably have a nice thumbnail as well. Maybe we can all like sit while this guy is like behind us. Something I don't know. But it'll be fun. Yeah. We can have like random guests. For example, we can have. Okay, this takes a little bit time, but not that much time. We can have. I forgot this girl's name, but yeah. See, this is the best way to see. If you want me to sell a product to you, this is the best way to sell it. Okay, like OpenX is already interested. It's like, what the hell? This is the best thing ever.
No. What?
See, you tell me you want an RTX card now because of this, right?
Wow.
And yeah. See, meet Iron Man, my friend. See, I can even go back. I can even go all the way back and be like, wait. I can't open my headphones. I can't like go to back.
People getting heart attack imagining
People don't need
that they can
Photoshop
play
anymore.
next-gen games like unlimited.
This is next gen.
People don't need Photoshop anymore, Aman.
Yeah.
They can just do this.
Yeah. And the best part is you can even play videos behind this, right? It's not just
Wow.
images. So I can say play something like
That is
Valorant
something I'm
Bongshot.
interested. You know what I'm interested with? What I'll do is like, you know how Ghost of Tsushima has the photo mode where you can loop videos of ambience?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh shit, you can do that.
Make
Eh?
a recording of that, put it as your background, and that is just
It's
perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But look at this.
Again-
Look at this. This is what technology, like, this is great. I don't know why
brilliant,
more
dude.
people aren't hyped about this. You don't need a green screen. You don't need, like, you can have Dr. Disrespect
This
style
is
production.
magic, dude.
You can have Dr. Disrespect style production at the click of a button with
Dude,
very-
imagine Dr. Disrespect spending money for all of this and then this comes
Yeah.
out.
Look at this. Like, I mean, I'm showing videos. This is what Dr. Disrespect used to do, right?
Does.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll just show you. Oh my god. Yeah. See, I can go back. It's like,
This is brilliant, dude.
Yeah.
Being shot at, that's the best part. Dude, Aman, I think
That
you
is
just
the
sold me
power
on
of AI.
I think you just sold me on a RTX, dude. And I'm not
Power of
even,
AI, bro.
I am not even being ironic here. Like,
yeah. This is
love
great. I
Yeah.
have no idea why more people are not hyped. This is absolutely amazing.
Because more people don't have
I
RTX
don't-
cards.
I don't care about I'm legitimately, I don't care about the performance. I don't care about anything. This is all I want.
You can take pictures of your friends and just like attach it on the background and exploit them for views, and like no one can say anything.
I need this,
Wow.
dude. I really need this.
Meets a lunch for my viewers. This is what I feel like right now after getting Nvidia broadcast. Anyway,
Beautiful, Aman.
yeah.
I gotta go.
This is technology. This is future. This is what people in 1900s were thinking about when they wanted in future.
Yep.
It's just a much shorter podcast. What are you saying? Just 1 hour 15
Yeah,
minutes.
you
till
didn't
now.
even like squeal about Harry Potter for some reason.
Oh shit! I forgot about that completely. Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah,
like,
that was
what?
revealed in Sony as well. Harry Potter. I completely forgot about that. There were so many things this time. We didn't even talk about Cyberpunk. Okay, let's do this fast. Harry Potter, great. It's finally been revealed. I was squealing about that for a long time. I'm very excited for that. So yeah, I'm excited that's coming. It's an RPG where you're a teenager, fourth year transfer student who gets into Hogwarts, and then there's like a destiny. It's also set in the 1800s. So that's there. Probably we will meet child Dumbledore, because Dumbledore went to Hogwarts around that time. for those of
Yeah,
you who
yeah.
don't know the story of Harry Potter. And yeah, we might see a lot of characters who are old in Harry Potter be children in this version of the game, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's that going on. We don't know what the main story is, but dark, I guess. Yeah,
There'll be a lot of dark magic
yeah,
happening
yeah.
that we haven't seen in movies yet,
Right, because the laws and all were not in place as far as my
Yeah,
my lore of Harry Potter was is that dark magic was a lot more
prevalent.
possible in that times,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's interesting.
That's that there. And so Harry Potter, great. It's excellent, basically.
Yeah,
And so yeah, I'm
sad
hyped
about
for it.
J.K. Rowling, but
Yeah,
the game itself. I mean,
yeah.
I'm glad they finally realized that the appeal for Harry Potter is exploring the school.
Yeah, I'm glad people. It's not exploring the school. What I would like to say is the world building of Harry Potter is actually much better than the protagonist of the seven
Right.
movies or the books,
Yeah, true,
whatever,
true.
right? Harry Potter as a story was always very attractive to a lot of people, not just because of the boy who survived, but because of the world that he survived in, right? And I think it's amazing that we will finally getting a proper full-fledged Harry Potter game where we don't have to be Harry Potter. We can be any other student and just explore that world as much as possible. And it's done in a setting of 1800s, which is far apart from the original storyline, so that we don't get any of those random Death Eaters world. I think that's done to hell now.
My only apprehension for this game, apart from J.K. Rowling getting the money off it, which I don't like, is that what was that? They did say one of these games might be games as a service. I hope that this is.
I don't think so. Don't ruin it for me. This is a fourth year student. It's a single player game. Unless they say it otherwise, this is that.
I was always of the belief that somewhere between Final Fantasy 15 and Persona 5 lies a great Harry Potter game, right? Because Persona 5 was a year-long story that takes place in a school, right? And you have to do all these side things with
I think this
classes.
is also going to be similar, where you're like, it's just a year of fourth year or fifth year is what it is, and transfer student, and then they will extend it later. So yeah, I am happy with that, honestly.
I think that's the best thing you want, because the best parts I remember reading in the book, I barely cared about the plot. I always cared about those characters goofing off in certain classes.
Yeah. Those were some of the best, even in movies, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's move on from Harry Potter because Operex has to escape. Last thing which I want to squeal about, and I will. Cyberpunk! Great. We got a lot of Cyberpunk information. We finally got info about the different gangs. So there are 8 gangs. Each gang controls like one territory. So there are like 8 territories in the game. And yeah. There's a lot of things going on in this game that I'm very excited about. You can't exactly join a gang. You can work for a gang. You are part of this mercenary group called the Afterlife. You're an elite form of mercenaries in the world of Cyberpunk who get the best contracts, best deals, right? And then you go around helping all these different gangs depending on what your quest. And the main quest is very simple. You're after the chip of immortality, which is something that you get to see in the Cyberpunk cinematic trailer, where that the chip that you help get for that fixer, and Jack dies in the process in the CGI cinematic trailer, and inside that chip lives Keanu Reeves, and because that's the chip of immortality, even you can't die. So I think there will be some kind of a gameplay loop around that, where if you die in the world of Cyberpunk after you do the main prologue and get the chip, you'll probably just come back alive in a trash can or something.
Out of Ghost in the Shell or Altered Carbon, Aman.
Yes.
Your consciousness is not limited to the body, right?
Yeah.
It's that was the thing. The consciousness is on the internet, basically.
Yeah.
It's basically data.
Yeah, this is not the internet though. Keanu Reeves specifically lives on that chip.
I'm making an example.
His girlfriend, by the way, lives on the internet. So this is for if you guys want to go in full spoilers into the without any spoilers into this game.
I'm going blind.
I was gonna say turn off this stream because I'm gonna give basically few story bits.
Please don't.
See, I'm giving basic story bits. This is all known. You can read up. This is not about in the game. But if you want to go in knowing what happened before, Johnny Silverhand was an ex-military rock star guy who went to Arasaka, which is one of the main, which is the main corporation in this game and probably the main enemy, right? To save his girlfriend who had been abducted by Arasaka to develop this AI that makes you immortal. Now, by the time he gets there, he just finds her lifeless body, and then he goes crazy and destroys everything, and then he dies in the process as well. What he didn't know was that his girlfriend already went into the internet to escape Arasaka, and but not before she completed the chip of immortality. Right. Now, when Keanu Reeves dies, he gets shifted to this chip of immortality by Arasaka, and they hold that chip. So in the first prologue, you're probably going to piss off Arasaka by stealing that chip. That's what the CGI cinematic told about. Like, the whole world knows what you did. So I am really excited for this game. I don't want to just say because of Cyberpunk. I am a huge RPG enthusiast. I really like stories and nice. And and I'm probably definitely helping the Tiger's Gang, because did you look at the laser?
I was like, Tiger's Gang is what.
Tiger's Gang and the Voodoo Boys are my thing.
I didn't want to like interrupt you, but when I saw Tiger Clan, I was like, that's mine.
So the two gangs I'm helping are the Voodoo Boys and the Tigers are the samurai people. I want the samurai sword and the cutting stuff, and I'm going for the Voodoo Boys because they're the net runners. They're the elite net runners. Illegal net runners in the world of Cyberpunk, and there's like a government-backed net runner also, and they always try to take you out. Yeah, so I'm very excited for this.
Seems so different. Both seem to yammer a lot about community, solidarity. Tell me about the Badlands. Not much going on out here.
Yeah, this is where we see the Badlands. In Badlands, we see two gangs. So this is the first gang we see. I think they are the racers, and this is the second gang. They are the party enthusiasts or something.
The Mad Max crew.
Yeah.
Family or the outside world.
No rules.
This family will go to hell and back.
Everyone in this city lives.
I see a lot of GTA 4 vibes in that family. So yeah, I'm excited about this. Very.
Definitely.
That's about it. They also showed a tour of Night City, but
Also, it is very
less
well
interesting.
optimized with the specs that they've
Just 2 minutes on that. It's amazingly optimized. They ask a minimum requirement of a 780, I think, right?
Yeah, 780. Yeah.
Which is so old, I don't even remember. I think it's 2013 card, if I'm correct. 7-year-old card, and that's
It came out
amazing.
when the current gen came out. Yeah, so 2013. Yeah.
So from what I understand, they're not looking at a target frame rate, but they are saying that it is playable at low 30 plus FPS or 60 FPS, I'm not sure, at 780. And the recommended is like a 1060, and you can play it, I guess, high 1080p gaming, 60 FPS. So even taking that into account, it's great. They will soon release a requirement for RTX enabled gameplay and 4K. I don't think 4K is what most of us will be going for anyway, because 4K is honestly 4K is not that great. If you're on PC, honestly 4K isn't that great as well, unless you're playing on a TV. Fine, but otherwise I would suggest if you're playing on PC, go at an ultra wide. You will get more performance and a better looking game as well, right? So I think the best way to play this on PC is ultra wide. If you're going to play this on consoles, then maybe a 4K TV and that. But I'm very excited because this is an RPG game, and the one thing that I will do in this game as soon as it starts is go into different people's houses and check their emails. That's I have already sorted that.
That is such an Aman thing, dude.
No, see, anyone who's played Deus Ex knows that they're gonna do this, right? This is an integral part of a game like this. You can hack everything. I wanted to see the emails. This is something we could not do in Watch Dogs, and I was very upset, even though that's touted as like a hacker game. So I am very excited to do these things. Yeah. I think that's about it. Does anyone have any thoughts?
No, we covered a lot. I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
We
And
mentioned everything.
I had only
It has been a busy week. Oh yeah, there was a Nintendo Direct, and the reason we didn't cover is because all of
We
us,
didn't watch it.
none of us watched it.
Yeah.
Sorry for Nintendo fans.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of great stuff in there.
See, Nathan watches our podcast. I'm sorry, Nathan.
He's gonna hate us.
Like one guy, like, sorry, man. Smash rocks.
Smash Rocks.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's about it. This time I had only like 2 internet disconnects, so that's great, and 1 doorbell. Great. So less interrupts. The entire podcast finished in like 1.5 hours record time. Great. I think this was amazing. Thanks for joining me, us, Pratik. And
Sure.
thanks for coming again with it. This has been nice.
Always did.
And expect highlights this time because I have my Nvidia broadcast highlights. Thanks for watching. See ya. Bye bye.